The sky was bruised with shades of gray as the rain fell in endless sheets over a quiet rural village in the Philippines. Palm trees swayed in the wind, and the muddy road leading through the rice fields had turned into a flowing stream of brown water. A lone traveler, a tall, foreign man with a soaked backpack and tired eyes, trudged carefully through the mud, his shoes squelching with every step. His name was Daniel, and he had been backpacking across Southeast Asia, driven by curiosity more than comfort. But this time, the rain had caught him off guard. His phone had no signal, his clothes clung to his skin, and his stomach rumbled. He looked around for any sign of shelter, a store, a bus stop, anything, but all he could see were nipa huts and banana trees. Then, just ahead, he spotted a small bamboo house with light flickering from inside. Hesitant but desperate, Daniel approached the home and knocked softly. The door creaked open, revealing an elderly woman wearing a faded floral dress. Her silver hair was tied neatly in a bun, and her face bore the soft lines of time, but her eyes were kind, glowing like the light of the kerosene lamp behind her. "Oh, you are wet, come inside, Anik, my child," she said in Taglish, her voice a mixture of surprise and warmth. Daniel tried to explain, embarrassed, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I just needed to stay dry. I can pay." She waved her hand, cutting him off. "No, no payment. Come, you'll get sick in this rain." Without hesitation, she ushered him into the small house. Inside, the air smelled of rice and wood smoke. The walls were simple bamboo, the floor was clean but uneven. Two children peeked shyly from behind a curtain, the woman's grandchildren. She handed Daniel a towel and motioned toward a wooden chair near a small table. The children giggled as they brought him a cup of hot ginger tea, its steam curling upward like a warm sigh. A bowl of freshly cooked rice followed, with a small piece of dried fish on the side. Daniel tried once more to offer payment, but the woman chuckled softly. "Greater than, here, we share, not sell. You are a guest, and guests are blessings." He sat quietly, humbled by her words. Around him, the little house buzzed with life, the faint sound of a radio playing a love song, the laughter of children, and the soft pitter-patter of rain on the roof. It wasn't luxury, but it felt like peace. After dinner, the grandmother asked where he was from. When he said, "America," her eyes widened with curiosity. "Greater than, so far. You come to see the Philippines. You see, our country is not rich in money, but rich in heart." Those words struck him. As he looked around the small home, the simple furniture, the old photos on the wall, the flickering light, he realized how content everyone seemed despite having so little. That night, Daniel slept on a woven mat that the family laid out for him. The rain continued outside, but inside that home, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: safety, belonging, and warmth. Before closing his eyes, he whispered to himself, "Greater than, how can people with so little give so much?" And that question stayed with him long after the storm had passed. The next morning, Daniel awoke to the smell of something cooking: garlic, onions, and grilled meat. The rain had cleared, and sunlight streamed through the bamboo slats. Outside, he heard laughter, voices, and music. Curious, he stepped out to see what was happening. The small village that had been quiet the night before was now alive. Colorful flags, banderitas, fluttered above the street. Men were setting up tables, women were preparing trays of food, and children ran around barefoot, their laughter echoing through the air. The elderly woman saw him and smiled. "Good morning, Anik. Today is fiesta. Come, join." Daniel hesitated, unsure. "I don't want to intrude." "Nonsense," she said, handing him a plate of lumpia, Filipino spring rolls. In the Philippines, no one eats alone on Fiesta Day. Soon, he found himself surrounded by friendly faces. A group of men invited him to help decorate a wooden archway with palm leaves and flowers. They laughed when he clumsily tied the knots but patted his back in encouragement. Nearby, a group of women were cooking in large pots over open fires. The smell of adobo and lechon, roast pig, filled the air. Someone handed him a cold drink. Children ran by, waving small flags, while a man tuned a guitar for the evening's singing contest. Daniel was amazed by how effortlessly everyone worked together. He asked one of the villagers, who organized all this. The man smiled. "No one, and everyone. It's Bayanihan." Daniel had heard the word before but never truly understood it. The man explained. Greater than, Bayanihan means helping each other, moving as one family. When someone is in need, we help, no questions. That's our way. Later in the afternoon, as people ate and danced, Daniel accidentally dropped a tray of fruit. The pieces scattered across the dirt floor, and his face flushed red. But instead of anger, the crowd burst into gentle laughter. Children rushed to help him pick it up. A woman even handed him another tray, smiling, "No problem, sir. We all make mess sometimes." At that moment, he understood, Filipino warmth is not a performance, it's a way of life. The sun dipped low, and the fiesta turned into an evening of music. Someone handed Daniel a guitar, encouraging him to sing. Though nervous, he strummed a simple tune. By the time he finished, the crowd cheered, not because he was good, but because he tried. They clapped, shouted, "Mabuhay! Long live," and handed him a plate full of food once again. That night, surrounded by laughter, music, and open hearts, Daniel felt something he hadn't known he was searching for: connection. The following morning, the air was cool and golden. The village was quieter after the fiesta, and smoke rose gently from cooking fires. Daniel packed his backpack, preparing to leave. He had only spent 2 days in the village, but it felt much longer, as if time had slowed to make room for kindness. The grandmother prepared a small breakfast for him: fried eggs, rice, and a slice of mango. "You eat before you go," she said gently. "No one travels with an empty stomach." After breakfast, she handed him a small woven pouch made from abaca fiber. Inside were a few pieces of dried mango. "So you remember the Philippines," she said, smiling softly. "Not just the place, but the people." Daniel felt his throat tighten. "Thank you, for everything." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "When you help others one day, remember this: you are part of our family now." Outside, the children ran up to hug him. One handed him a paper flower they had made the night before. As he walked down the muddy road, he turned back to wave, the grandmother standing by the bamboo doorway, smiling in the morning light. The camera pans out. Rice fields stretching to the horizon, a village shimmering in gold, the faint sound of laughter echoing in the distance. In a quiet voiceover, Daniel says, "Greater than, in this country, I came as a stranger, and left feeling like family. They say Filipinos are the warmest people on earth. Now I know, it's true. Their kindness is not in what they give, but how they give it, with heart." He continues walking until the sound of the ocean fades in, waves crashing, birds calling, a feeling of peace washing over everything. The final frame fades to black with the words, "Greater than, in the Philippines, hospitality isn't a gesture, it's a legacy."